For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On June 14, 1986, Robert Nash, 28, and Jennifer Walsh, 26, disappeared while driving through rural East Texas on their way to a family wedding in Houston. Their rental car was found abandoned on a back road near the Sabine River, but extensive searches by local authorities and volunteers found no trace of the young couple from Chicago. The case puzzled investigators in the sparsely populated region where such disappearances were uncommon. For 16 years, the mystery remained unsolved while both families held on to diminishing hope for answers. Then, in September 2002, environmental researchers conducting a wetland study made a disturbing discovery in a remote marshy area that would finally reveal the tragic fate that had befallen Robert and Jennifer during their journey through the Texas wilderness. This is the complete story of their disappearance and the deadly natural trap that had kept them hidden for over a decade and a half. June 14, 1986, began with excitement for Robert Nash and Jennifer Walsh as they prepared for the final day of their drive from Chicago to Houston for Jennifer's cousin's wedding. The couple had been dating for 3 years and had planned the road trip as a romantic adventure before what they hoped would be their own engagement announcement later that summer. Robert, who worked as an accountant for a Chicago insurance company, had rented a reliable Ford Taurus for the journey and carefully planned their route to include scenic stops through Missouri, Arkansas, and East Texas. Jennifer, an elementary school teacher, had researched interesting destinations along the way and packed a camera to document their adventure. They had spent the night of June 13th at a motel in Marshall, Texas, approximately 150 miles from Houston. The desk clerk later told investigators that the couple seemed happy and excited about reaching their destination, discussing plans to explore some of the rural areas they would pass through on their final day of driving. Their planned route would take them south on Highway 59 through the Piney Woods region of East Texas, an area known for its dense forests, small towns, and scenic backroads that attracted tourists interested in experiencing rural Southern culture and natural beauty. The couple checked out of their motel at 8:30 a.m. and stopped for breakfast at a local diner, where several witnesses remembered them asking about scenic routes and interesting stops they might make during their drive to Houston. The waitress suggested they visit some of the historic sites near the Sabine River if they had extra time. Robert and Jennifer's last confirmed sighting was at a gas station in Carthage, Texas, around 11:15 a.m., where they purchased fuel, snacks, and a local map showing backroads and points of interest in the area. The station attendant remembered Jennifer mentioning that they wanted to see some real Texas countryside before reaching the big city. Security camera footage from the gas station showed the couple studying their map and pointing to various locations, apparently choosing a scenic route for the remainder of their journey. They appeared relaxed and happy, with no indication of any problems or concerns about their travel plans. When Robert and Jennifer failed to arrive at the Houston wedding rehearsal dinner on the evening of June 14th, family members initially assumed they had been delayed by car trouble or had decided to make additional stops along the way. However, when they didn't respond to phone calls at their Houston hotel, relatives began to worry. Jennifer's aunt, hosting the wedding, contacted the Texas Department of Public Safety on the morning of June 15th to report that the couple was missing. The initial response was limited because adults missing for less than 24 hours weren't considered high priority, but the family's persistence led to a preliminary investigation. The breakthrough came on June 16th when a local farmer discovered the abandoned Ford Taurus on County Road 2251, a narrow backroad approximately 25 miles southeast of Carthage. The car was properly parked on the shoulder with its hazard lights still blinking, though the battery had died after running for nearly 2 days. Harrison County Sheriff's Deputy Mike Thompson arrived at the scene to examine the abandoned vehicle, which showed no signs of accident damage or mechanical failure. The car doors were unlocked, keys were in the ignition, and both Robert's wallet and Jennifer's purse were on the front seats with cash and credit cards untouched. More puzzling was the discovery of both suitcases in the trunk, along with Jennifer's camera and various personal items that suggested the couple had not planned to leave their vehicle permanently. Their absence from the car appeared to be temporary, as if they had intended to return quickly from whatever activity had drawn them away. The location where the car was found was significant. County Road 2251 was a dead-end route that led to several abandoned logging roads and hunting trails in the heavily forested area near the Sabine River. The region was known for its challenging terrain, including swamps, dense vegetation, and unstable ground that could be dangerous for inexperienced hikers. Deputy Thompson organized initial search efforts focusing on the immediate area around the abandoned car. The terrain made searching extremely difficult, with thick underbrush, standing water, and muddy conditions that required specialized equipment and experienced personnel to navigate safely. Local volunteers joined the search operation, including hunters and loggers familiar with the challenging terrain. However, the vastness of the forested area and the numerous hunting trails and logging roads provided countless directions the couple might have traveled, making systematic searching nearly impossible. The investigation expanded over the following week to include search and rescue teams from multiple counties and specialized units experienced in swamp and forest operations. Helicopters conducted aerial surveys of the region, but the dense tree canopy made spotting ground-level evidence extremely difficult. Sheriff's detectives interviewed local residents and business owners about any suspicious activity or strangers in the area around June 14th. The rural region had a small population, and newcomers were typically noticed by longtime residents, but no one reported seeing Robert and Jennifer after their gas station stop in Carthage. The couple's backgrounds were thoroughly investigated for any indication of problems that might explain their disappearance. Both families described Robert and Jennifer as responsible, happy individuals with no history of depression, substance abuse, or relationship difficulties that might lead to voluntary disappearance. Financial records showed no suspicious transactions or large cash withdrawals that might suggest the couple had planned to disappear. Their credit cards showed normal travel expenses through June 14th, with no activity after their gas station purchase in Carthage. One theory focused on the possibility that Robert and Jennifer had encountered criminals in the remote area. East Texas had experienced occasional incidents of robbery and assault targeting travelers on isolated roads, though such crimes were relatively rare in the sparsely populated region. After 3 weeks of intensive searching, the official operation was scaled back due to the challenging terrain and lack of concrete evidence about the couple's fate. Sheriff's investigators acknowledged that the vast forested area could conceal evidence indefinitely, making comprehensive searching nearly impossible. The case received coverage in Texas media and generated tips from people who thought they had seen the couple in various locations throughout the state. Each lead was investigated, but none provided concrete evidence about what had happened to Robert and Jennifer. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, both families organized private search expeditions and hired investigators to continue looking for answers. The challenging terrain and dense vegetation made progress extremely slow, and the passage of time reduced the likelihood of finding physical evidence. In 1992, human remains found in a different area of East Texas initially raised hopes for resolution, but forensic analysis determined they belonged to someone who had died years earlier and were unrelated to the missing couple. Such discoveries occasionally renewed attention to the case but never provided the answers families desperately sought. The rise of computer databases and improved coordination between law enforcement agencies during the 1990s offered some hope that the case might benefit from new technologies. However, without physical evidence or credible witnesses, these advances couldn't provide insights into what had happened in the remote forest. Advanced search techniques became available during the late 1990s, including ground-penetrating radar and improved GPS systems that could help locate buried evidence or map search areas more precisely. However, the vast size of the potential search area made systematic application of these technologies impractical. By 2014, years after the disappearance, both families had largely accepted that Robert and Jennifer were probably dead, though they continued hoping for answers about what had happened. The case had generated hundreds of tips and extensive search efforts without producing any concrete evidence. Cold case reviews conducted by Harrison County investigators acknowledged that the couple had most likely died in the remote forest area, either through accident, criminal activity, or exposure to the elements. However, the challenging terrain made locating their remains extremely unlikely without more specific information. September 18, 2002, began as a routine research day for Dr. Sarah Martinez and her team from Stephen F. Austin State University, who were conducting a comprehensive study of wetland ecosystems in East Texas. Their research focused on documenting changes in marshy areas that might be affected by development or climate variations. The team was working in a remote section of the Sabine River watershed, approximately 3 miles from where Robert and Jennifer's car had been found 16 years earlier. The area was accessible only by hiking through dense forest and was rarely visited except by occasional hunters during specific seasons. Around 2:45 p.m., graduate student Kevin Rodriguez was taking soil samples from what appeared to be a small marshy depression when he noticed unusual coloration in the sediment layers. What initially looked like natural mineral deposits proved to be synthetic materials that seemed out of place in the wilderness environment. Closer examination revealed that the materials included fabric and metal objects that appeared to be human artifacts rather than natural formations. The items were embedded in what the research team quickly recognized as quicksand, a dangerous mixture of sand, clay, and water that could trap and engulf anyone who stepped into it. The discovery of human remains within the quicksand formation prompted immediate notification of law enforcement and emergency services. Within hours, Harrison County Sheriff's deputies and specialized recovery teams were working to carefully extract evidence from the treacherous natural trap. The quicksand formation was located in a small clearing that would have been attractive to hikers seeking to rest or explore, but its dangerous nature wouldn't have been apparent until someone actually stepped into it. The area had likely trapped Robert and Jennifer when they wandered off the logging road to explore what appeared to be solid ground. Recovery operations required extreme caution due to the unstable nature of the quicksand, which could easily trap rescue workers attempting to extract evidence. Specialized equipment and techniques were used to safely remove human remains and personal items from the natural trap that had concealed them for 16 years. Forensic analysis conducted by the Texas Department of Public Safety confirmed that the remains belonged to Robert Nash and Jennifer Walsh. Personal items found in the quicksand included jewelry, clothing, and identification that definitively linked the discovery to the missing couple from Chicago. The investigation revealed that Robert and Jennifer had likely left their car to explore what appeared to be an interesting natural area, following a faint trail that led from the logging road toward the marshy depression. The quicksand formation was hidden by vegetation and would have appeared to be solid ground until they stepped into it. Evidence suggested that both individuals had become trapped simultaneously, with their remains found close together in a way that indicated they had tried to help each other escape from the deadly natural trap. The quicksand's consistency and depth had made escape impossible once they had sunk below a certain level. The location explained why extensive search efforts in 1986 had failed to locate any trace of the missing couple. The quicksand formation was hidden in dense forest and completely concealed their remains, making detection impossible even for searchers who passed near the area. Personal items recovered from the quicksand included Jennifer's camera, which had been protected by its waterproof case. When the film was developed, it provided a photographic record of the couple's final day, showing their enjoyment of the scenic drive and their exploration of the forest area before encountering the deadly trap. The discovery brought closure to both families after 16 years of uncertainty, though learning the circumstances of Robert and Jennifer's deaths was devastating. The evidence showed that they had died together while trying to help each other, reflecting the strong bond that had characterized their relationship. The case highlighted the hidden dangers that natural areas could present to inexperienced hikers, particularly in regions where quicksand formations might not be apparent to casual visitors. The couple's tragedy became a cautionary tale about the importance of staying on established trails when exploring unfamiliar terrain. Dr. Martinez's research team was recognized for their careful handling of the discovery and their immediate notification of authorities when they realized the significance of what they had found. Their professional response ensured that evidence was properly preserved and that the families finally received answers. The quicksand formation was marked and documented by geologists as a potential hazard for future visitors to the area. Warning signs were posted on nearby trails to alert hikers about the dangers of leaving established paths in the marshy regions of the forest. Harrison County Sheriff's investigators used the case to improve search protocols for missing persons in wilderness areas, emphasizing the need to consider natural hazards like quicksand when planning search operations. The case became a training example for search and rescue teams throughout Texas. Robert Nash and Jennifer Walsh's story serves as both a tragedy and an important reminder of the hidden dangers that can exist in natural environments. Their exploration of what appeared to be beautiful countryside led to an encounter with a deadly natural trap that claimed their lives despite their efforts to save each other. The 16-year delay in discovering their remains illustrates how thoroughly natural hazards can conceal evidence, even during extensive search operations. The The Quicksand Formation had completely hidden their fate while remaining invisible to hundreds of searchers who covered the same general area. For Texas law enforcement and search and rescue organizations, the case provided crucial lessons about the importance of considering geological hazards when investigating missing persons in wilderness areas. Improved training and awareness of natural dangers became priorities for agencies operating in challenging terrain. The persistence of both families in keeping the case active and supporting continued search efforts contributed to the attention the discovery received when evidence was finally found. Their advocacy ensured that Robert and Jennifer's story would serve as a warning to other travelers about wilderness safety. The case demonstrates how romantic adventures in natural settings can quickly become dangerous when travelers encounter unfamiliar hazards. While Robert and Jennifer's exploration reflected their love of adventure and each other, it also highlighted the need for caution when leaving established trails in unknown areas. Environmental research that led to the discovery continues in the region, with scientists now more aware of both the natural hazards and the potential for finding evidence of historical incidents. The intersection of scientific research and criminal investigation provided an unexpected resolution to a case that had seemed unsolvable. As of 2002, the area where Robert and Jennifer were found has been preserved as both a memorial to their memory and a study site for understanding quicksand formation and safety. Their story continues to educate visitors about the importance of wilderness safety and the unpredictable dangers that can exist in seemingly peaceful natural settings. The couple's tragic end serves as a lasting reminder that nature's beauty can mask deadly hazards, and that even well-intentioned exploration can have fatal consequences when travelers encounter natural traps that provide no opportunity for escape or rescue.